What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another card review slash discussion type video, and this time it is going to be on another new card spoiled for release in Raging Tempest in the OCG, which is the set that comes out after their Invasion of Venom set, or as it's called for us, Invasion Vengeance, which means that this is the set that is going to be coming out around February 2017 for us. Now the card that we're looking at today is another new Wind Witch. I did a previous video talking about the first two Wind Witch cards that were spoiled for that archetype that were coming out in Raging Tempest, and now the third card has been spoiled since I've been away for the weekend, and this is the first chance I've had to look at it and talk about it. But this card is called Wind Witch Ice Bell, and it is a wind spellcaster effect, level 3 monster with 1,000 attack and 1,000 defense, and it's actually just really cool and really good for a few reasons, and I'm really glad that its effect works the way it does for more than just its competitive play implication reasons, as well as just its play reasons in general. There's a little bit of like just general backstory for this card's effect that just kind of makes me really like it all around as a card, but that's more anime based, but I'll get to that later. But anyway, its effect is, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can special summon one Wind Witch monster from your deck. Monsters special summoned by this effect cannot be tributed. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except level 5 or higher wind monsters. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect of Wind Witch Ice Bell once per turn. Now, this card has very, very good implications because it is a kind of pseudo Speedroid Terratop-like card, but it does restrict you from going into rank 3s. You cannot summon anything except level 5 or higher wind monsters from your extra deck. That's all you can summon. But you have a slew of good cards that you can access in the form of a bunch of just different wind synchro monsters that are all very good. Even at the very end of the day, you have things like Stardust Charge Warrior that just gets you extra cards that can attack everything your opponent controls once each. You have things like Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, you have things like Stardust and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. You have a lot of different options as far as good wind monsters that are level 5 or higher synchro monsters in your extra deck. Ultimately, this card pairs very well with another card that we talked about, the Wind Witch Tuner, in the previous video, which I believe was Snowbell. If I remember correctly, if I remember its name correctly. It was either Snowbell or Crystal Bell, and I believe Crystal Bell was the Synchro, which makes a lot of sense in terms of naming, but Snowbell is the card that, is level 1 tuner that special summons itself if you have 2 wind monsters on the field. This card immediately fulfills that requirement while not using your normal summon, and the tuner as well also does not require your normal summon. So there are a lot of plays you can perform not utilizing your normal summon that absolutely just allowed you to mold your game states further. This card specifically, Wind Witch Ice Bell, can be combined, with your Wind Witch Snowbell in hand to make a 1-card Crystal Bell, which lets you then further special summon monsters from your hand because you can target itself and then summon anything that's level 7 or lower from your hand. So there's multiple different ways for you to just bypass normal summons in this deck, and it's just really neat and really cool that we have cards like this that are actually allowing this to happen. Now, when this thing is summoned, you inflict 500 damage to your opponent, so just a little bit of cheeky burn damage on top of the cake. Now, it doesn't stack burn damage. You can't summon another Ice Bell from your deck and then burn them for another 500. It's because it says you can only use each effect of Wind Witch Ice Bell once per turn. But the fact that this card functions as a Terratop, literally the exact same as Speedroid Terratop, but doesn't require you to play cards like Speedroid Takatomborg, but the Speedroid engine works really well with this card and this archetype in general, is really neat. I personally like this from, just a lore-ish sort of standpoint because of the fact that if you watch the anime, you know that the two characters that use the Speedroid deck as well as the character that uses this Wind Witch deck are very close. And the fact that their card effects sort of mirror each other in terms of how the decks operate, even though they are very two different archetypes, is very neat and very interesting to me. I really enjoy that from a very fundamental design aspect level because they could have easily just had two completely different decks that function completely differently. However, they function almost identically in terms of how they function, and these characters being close like that is very cool in terms of lore and just general weeaboo-ness that I like to delve into. But ultimately, I do think this card is very good. I think this card is very, potentially good for the future, in fact, depending on just how the game progresses. This card, as well as Snowbell the Tuner, are both two really good cards because of the fact that Snowbell makes whatever you summon immune to destruction by your opponent's card effects. Overall, I just see a lot of actual potential for this card in the competitive gameplay. If we keep getting more decent cards like this, then this Wind Witch deck, at least being combined with something else like Wind Witch Speedroid, could probably be a very, very good, very aggressive deck, considering you have so many different ways, like I've already said, to bypass your normal summon and just summon multiple cards in a turn. This card summons itself, summons another Wind Witch from your deck, and we don't even know what the rest of the targets are you can summon from your deck. You can use this to summon, you know, other cards as soon as we get them spoiled. Like, as far as we know right now, all you're using this card for is summoning another copy of Ice Bell from your deck and then just having Snow Bell in your hand. But what happens when we get more of these Wind Witch cards that actually have good effects when they're summoned, or just good effects on field in general? Like, there's just multiple different things that we could go into, and the fact that, you know, this plus the tuner can just make almost anything in the game in your extra deck as long as it's wind, and like level 5 or higher, like that's actually really cool and really key for this possibly being a successful archetype in the future. Like I said, there have already been people that have been talking to me about, you know, Wind Witch Speedroids. Lithium's already made a video on Wind Witch Speedroid decks, and like it functions really well together. Takatomborg is amazing in those decks, as well as Terratop, and then this card that functions as another Terratop. There's all these different things that, you know, combine into factors as to, you know, this deck could actually be a real thing. This archetype could actually be a contender. We just need to keep seeing more decent cards like this that just support the theme and just make the cards actually, you know, playable and be able to do well. But ultimately, I want to know what you guys think about this card and the other Wind Witch cards that I reviewed in the previous video in the comments down below, the Synchro and these two main deck monsters. I want to know what you think about the entirety of these cards that we know of so far in the comments down below. I'm very, very curious to know what the rest of these cards are, and I cannot wait for more of these cards to be spoiled, either through the anime or through these sets. So, ultimately, I want to know what you guys think, as I've already said. As always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to Facebook links, background music playlist, Twitch links, all that sort of nonsense. Use those links however you want to do so. If you want to connect with me, chat with me, whatever, or just check out the information that is there. That is what they are there for. It is a resource that I try to provide to you. But otherwise, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you know some people that might like my content, like in these reviews, like in the duels that I do, stuff like that, then definitely share my content around. Trying to grow the subscriber base, trying to grow the viewer base of the channel, trying to improve numbers, trying to just increase the amount of people that I get to connect with through this channel, because at the end of the day, I look at it as a huge conversation. Like, it's literally like I give input and then you guys give input through comments and all that sort of nonsense, and it ultimately makes us all a little bit better as it goes. I look at it as literally just a huge group conversation or some sort of weird amalgamation of a hive mind. So definitely trying to grow the channel as best as I can, and if you guys want to assist with that, then that's the way that you can do so. But other than that, that's it for this video. Again, let me know what you guys think about the Wind Witch cards in the comments down below. If there's any other cards from Raging Tempest that you want me to review that I may not have gotten to yet, then definitely leave it in the comment section down below, or from any other new sets, because I mean this video is going to be up for a while. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, as I've already said, and as always guys, take care.